BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Next on the Bronx Journal, the other victims of 9/11, the ones who are still alive and suffering health problems, and a new documentary that records the history of Latin music in the Bronx.
You're watching the Bronx Journal, the BronxNet television edition of the multilingual community newspaper, published by the students and faculty of the Journalism, Communication, and Theater Department at Lehman College. In print and on television, the Bronx Journal covers the issues concerning the people of the Bronx. Do you want to know what's going on in the Bronx? Are you interested in Bronx politics, sports, and entertainment? Are you interested in Bronx personalities? Do you want to keep up with the latest business or cultural trends? In the Bronx Journal, we have the answers. Now here's your host, the Bronx Journal's editor-in-chief, Professor Miguel Perez.
The terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001 left us with a lot of casualties. Today, we remember the incredible heroism of the New York City police officers, firefighters, and other responders who got hurt, lost their lives, and who are still suffering from all kinds of illnesses due to the conditions at Ground Zero. With us now to talk about how the attacks affected their lives and their health are police officers Raul Del Llano, Sergio Montolio, Paul Abraham, and Jose Perez. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
Where were you, Paul Abraham, on 9/11, and what did you do there?
9/11, I was a recruit in the police academy, and I was upstairs in the 5th floor. And that day we was waiting for Chief Campisi of Internal Affairs to come speak to us. And while we was waiting, they had a TV on, and they had Channel 4. And when the first plane hit, everyone was panicking. They said it was an accident. But I was in the military, I worked with planes, and I knew that when the first plane hit, the size of the plane was not an accident. It had to be some type of terroristic attack. And when the second plane hit, everyone started panicking, calling their families. So since I was still a recruit in the police academy, we got mobilized. They put us on different rosters. And the first place they put us was on the Brooklyn Bridge, heading down towards One Police Plaza. So we was basically doing traffic and escorting people out from grounds by the World Trade Center to a safety zone.
And you spent, I imagine, most of the day there?
Yes, I spent a lot of days over there, 15, 16 hours a day working over there.
Okay, let me get everybody. Jose Perez, where were you that day? And what were you doing?
That day I had a day off, and by the time the first plane had already hit, I was already up, and my fiance called me. She said, hurry up, turn on the TV. So I get up, I turn on the TV, and next thing I'm looking at it, and I see that the first plane had hit, and then see the next plane, and I see a lot of fumes and I'm standing in front of the TV with the remote control, and I'm looking at it saying, wow, that's a new movie. I just haven't seen the previews to it, but it's not hitting me.
You thought it was fiction.
Exactly. So, and then the next plane hit, and that's when I was like, oh, this is the real thing. And what I did was I left the house. I reported to the nearest precinct because I was like 2 blocks away.
Is that your precinct or another precinct?
That was my resident precinct at that moment. So I went, I reported to them. They told me, no, go ahead and report to your working precinct, just like everybody else. That's what happened. So I got back in the car, and I got to the bridge on 155th Street, and next thing I know, the island was shut down on all directions, just like you said. I was the only person driving down the bridge, and I had a floor because I had to get to the other side. And when I showed my badge again on the other side, they let me through. I got to the precinct. When I arrived, the unit that I was with, they were halted just before they left out. If not, they would have been, when the second plane would have hit, they would have been casualties themselves. So we wind up being sent over to the borough precinct of the Bronx, and from there they gave us the next instructions what we were going to do. And it was like himself. We spent many days, long hours doing this.
At Ground Zero in that general area?
Right after that, right.
Okay.
After
Raul Del Llano, tell us about your experience.
Well, mine, everybody forgets that it was election day. And I had taken that day off because I was working with my friend Sergio Villaverde, who was running for city council of the 14th district. And I was up there, we had a truck, and we were moving campaign supplies back and forth and people transporting. When I got to what school, that's when I had on 1010 winds, and they announced the first plane. I said, wow, it was an accident. And then what came back to me was in the 1940s or 50s, the B-25 Mitchell that flew into the Empire State Building because of fog. I said, but this is a clear day, so I was wondering. And then all of a sudden, when they said the second plane hit, that's when I knew that this was not an accident, that this was a deliberate, premeditated act, and I went into panic mode. I got in the van, went back to the campaign headquarters, through Sergio Marquis, I gotta go.
No, you knew there was no election at that point.
Yeah, at that point, the election was the last thing I had to worry about. Yeah. I made a couple of phone calls to friends I had in the military and all of it, and they said, listen, Raul, there's still a couple of planes unaccounted for. So then I went into super panic mode, and I went straight for my kids' school, managed to get in through a side door, went down there, got my kids, and once I knew that my kids were safe, then I went to my precinct, where everybody was, it was scrambling, everybody was mustering up into uniforms, and we were all gathered up, and then we were marshaled from there to Patrol Barrel Bronx, where we got sent to different locations, and just like everybody else, I spent numerous times on the pile, digging and the surrounding areas, Ground Zero, traffic, pedestrian traffic, vehicle traffic, and the like.